Hello everyone, my name is Alison Margary and I am a UK Chartered Occupational Hygienist and currently President-elect of the British Occupational Hygiene Society and also a supporter of WHWB, Workplace Health Without Borders. I am delighted to have the opportunity to speak at the second edition of the OSH India Virtual Expo. Today I am speaking on behalf of the Workplace Health Without Borders United Kingdom branch to bring attention to Silica Awareness training and its importance in helping to improve worker health. But before kicking off with my presentation, I will cut my video so that you can concentrate on the presentation slides themselves while I speak. So cheerio for now and see you again at the end of my presentation. First, a bit about Workplace Health Without Borders, which is a non-profit organisation dedicated to ensuring healthy working conditions for workers everywhere. It is an international organisation founded initially in Canada with branches so far in the United States, United Kingdom and Australia. Today I am speaking on behalf of the UK branch. WHWB's vision is a world where workers, their families and communities do not get ill because of their work. Our mission is to prevent work-related disease around the world through shared expertise, knowledge and skills. WHWB does this by providing training and mentoring programs, promoting professional and public awareness of global occupational health issues. It supports non-governmental organisations that do international development work to help them protect their own volunteers from health hazards, and offers support and technical assistance for projects around the world to evaluate and control occupational health hazards. For my short presentation today, my focus is on respirable crystalline silica, for which the World Health Organization has estimated that between a shocking 30 and 35% of workers in primary industries, such as mining, quarrying and farming, and high-risk sectors in developing countries, such as agate workers in the jewelry industry, may develop serious disease due to exposure to fine crystalline silica dust that can be breathed deep into the lungs. Silica is a naturally occurring substance made of the two most abundant naturally occurring elements in the Earth's crust, silicon and oxygen. It is a very simple substance that consists of 2 atoms of oxygen and 1 atom of silicon combining to form a molecule of silica. In its crystalline form, also known as quartz, silica is found in almost every type of rock and is the second most common form of naturally occurring mineral, and often the main component of sand. It is also present in other minerals such as agate used in jewelry. The ubiquitous nature of crystalline silica means that there is a potential for exposure from a very wide range of industries and work activities varying from agriculture to oil and gas, mining and quarrying to manufacturing, building and construction to water and sewage treatment, ceramics and pottery to jewelry manufacture. In this slide, you can see photos of the various common activities involving exposure to silica, illustrating the potential for high concentration of dust emission and consequent potential for exposure by inhalation. We have field ploughing, stone carving, open cast mining, pottery and brick making, and concrete cutting, to name a few. It is the respirable fraction of crystalline silica that we are most concerned with, as it has the ability to penetrate deep into the lungs where it can cause the most damage, upsetting the oxygen transfer from the breathed air into the blood, and is critical when assessing the risk to health of exposed workers. The picture on this slide shows the alveoli sacs in which this gaseous transfer takes place. The effects of exposure on the lung can cause serious illness, including silicosis, lung cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or COPD, as well as other respiratory diseases. It is often associated with tuberculosis. Dr. Sean Young's presentation at this OSH EXPO will be discussing silica and TB in relation to agate jewellery workers. Sean is also presenting on behalf of WHWB-UK. A tragic example is the story of the jeans. In this example, manufacturers of denim jeans in Turkey used sandblasting to give the denim material the popular weathered look. Of course, the sand comprised of quartz, which when blasted against the denim material, gave rise to respirable crystalline silica, which resulted in the tragic deaths of more than 50 workers and debilitating lung disease in many others. In this example, sandblasting was successfully replaced with a mechanical method to treat the denim, thus removing the hazard of RCS from the work environment. Just a bit of foresight can make a massive difference. Clearly, anything we can do to prevent the illness caused by silica from happening will be of huge benefit to the individuals affected in bringing better health, helping them to provide for their family, and also supporting the economy of their country, not to mention improved quality of life. The World Health Organization have stated that there is convincing evidence that the incidence of such disease can be significantly reduced by well-organized prevention programs. This includes providing those at risk with an awareness of the effects of exposure to respirable crystalline silica and how often simple control measures can reduce that risk. No doubt many of you are familiar with the hierarchy of controls as depicted here. When considering control options, the hierarchy should also be taken into account and attempts made to drive the selection of a control solution as high up the hierarchy as possible, starting with elimination of the hazard. Unfortunately for silica, elimination is rarely an option, as we have seen. It is frequently in the raw material being worked. I have also mentioned a good example of substitution in the case of weathering of denim by mechanical means in place of sandblasting. Next to consider are engineering control options, including process changes such as dampening down any dust, enclosure of the dusty process, or isolating the worker from the activity. It is also an option to use ventilation to dilute the airborne hazard or to remove it from the work area at the point of emission. Then we move to management or administrative controls, such as ensuring good housekeeping by keeping surfaces clean and limiting secondary sources of dust emission. Followed lastly by personal protective equipment, PPE, as the least favoured option. PPE is considered to be the last resort, as it is also likely to be the least effective option. To look a little further at substitution, sandblasting has been used extensively to clean the surface of a variety of objects, for example, preparing building or equipment surfaces for painting or other treatment. In fact, it is often possible to substitute a safer material for the sand. Examples of abrasive substitutes are walnut shells, metal beads, or steel shot. Chemicals can also be used to remove surface coatings, and high-pressure water can be effective in some applications. Of course, in selecting alternatives, risks need to be assessed and appropriate controls applied. Whilst I don't have time in this presentation to go into more details of programs to prevent exposure to respirable crystalline silica, I am able to bring to your attention an online course that is being developed by WHWB-UK, covering such details, including what it is, the common sources in workplaces, the health effects of exposure, the basic approaches to assessing the risk associated with exposure, and importantly, practical means of controlling exposure. As mentioned already, Measures of control do not always have to be very sophisticated to be effective, such as using water to damp down airborne dust and remove it from the breathing zone of workers. So who are the target audience? The target audience for this course is aimed at health and safety professionals, managers and others who may be concerned about exposure to RCS in the workplace, so that they can be better informed on how to manage those activities involving exposure to crystalline silica dust. Needless to say, support from an occupational hygienist is advised when the risk is uncertain and in selecting appropriate workplace controls. If silica dust is visible, then it doesn't take an expert to recognize that control is inadequate and action is needed to improve control. In this case, any money and effort is better spent on improving the control than on confirming that there is indeed a problem. So how is this course structured? It will be accessible online via the internet, and each section will include a PowerPoint presentation with voiceover, supporting text to summarize the key points covered in each section, a few self-assessment questions to test understanding, and a section with a list and links to further information sources to broaden the knowledge of those completing the course. The course is being prepared in English, at least in the first instance. The course is currently undergoing piloting. Once finalised, it will be made available free of charge. For further information and to participate in the pilot if you wish, please send an email to WHWB-UK at the address shown on this slide. This is a basic awareness course, and for those who wish to understand further details, a one-day talk programme on silica is also available via the WHWB sister organisation, OHTA. Please see their website, www.ohlearning.com. Although this is a pre-recorded session, if you have any questions, please send them direct to WHWB-UK at whwb.uk@whwb.org. We will endeavour to answer them and collate in a Q&A document for those interested. So hello again, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for your attention.